So this video is going to be divided into two parts. The first is going to be on the Warframe market, and the second on only the Riven market. It should hopefully be 12 minutes each, but we'll see what happens. If not, there shouldn't be any ads anyway, and timestamps will be in the description below for whatever parts you care about the most. With that being said, when I am referring to the Warframe and Riven market, I'm usually referring to websites Warframe.market and Riven.market. I'll talk about the trade chat separately because that's something completely different, but towards the end when I discuss bartering. The Warframe market as it is right now covers the tradable items in the game that aren't unveiled Rivens. If the Riven is veiled, the prices for those are usually treated similarly to rare mods like Adaptation or Augur Secrets, having a price range of about 20 to 60 platinum, and it can vary depending on the difficulty of the veiled Riven challenge. So this will be the last time I mention Rivens in this video until the next part. Some quick and easy ways to make platinum on the side are to sell ores and fish from Fortuna or Cetus. This is more applicable to Fortuna than Cetus, as you can fight Thumpers for resources, and the Orb Mother in Fortuna only comes around as an event. Fish and ores usually go around for like 1 to 3 platinum, which may not seem like a lot, but in bulk you can walk away with a cool 35 to 50 platinum depending on how much someone needs at any given moment. Just make sure to keep track of your daily trades, as ores and fish are sold one at a time. You can also sell Ayatan sculptures, empty or filled, as people always need endo. You could also sell Eidolon Lens blueprints if you don't need them at the moment. In general, items that are single use or resources can be sold in bulk to make some decent plat on the side. For more nuanced things, the most important thing to keep in mind when concerning the Warframe market are trends. The time span in which an event will appear, or the demand or popularity of a certain item. For example, Exodia Contagion is an arcane for Rivens that is exclusive to the Plaguestar event, which means you have to wait for that event to reappear in order to acquire it. Around March, a fully maxed out Exodia Contagion was going for around 300 platinum. That is, until DE announced that the Plaguestar event was coming back in June. This is the importance of keeping track of trends and having a sense for when an event will come back. At the announcement of an event, or throughout the event itself, prices for items will be considerably low, as it is accessible to all players so long as they get on to play for it. When the event is gone, supply for these items is limited, leading to an increase in price over time. This isn't without exceptions, however. Prime, Warframe, and weapon sets that release for the first time have an unbelievable demand for the first 2 weeks, and as a result, prices hit highs of 300 platinum for players who don't mind shelling out the plat for it. For this reason, some players don't even bother building prime sets or weapons until after the first 2 weeks, because they understand the incredible demand for these releases, especially when it's for a high profile frame like the past few have been. After the first 2 weeks, however, prices begin to normalize very quickly and drop to 50 to 100 plat. And like events, prime frames and weapons go away after a set period of time and undergo the same strategy as something like Exodia Contagion. Unlike regular event items, prime warframes and weapons are acquired through relics, and depending on how DE decides to unvault them, it can actually increase the prices of warframes, even if they are once again accessible. I will provide 2 examples. In the previous unvaulting, Frost and Ember Prime relics could be earned through bounties in either Fortuna or Cetus. Fortuna and Cetus bounties have relatively small drop tables, and relics are usually common drops, allowing players to easily acquire Ember or Frost Prime. Compare that to the current unvaulting of Volt and Loki Prime, and you'll see that they can't actually be earned through Fortuna and Cetus bounties, but instead the Void. The problem with the Void is that in order to acquire rare relics like Axii relics, you need to play the game on modes that force you to play 5 minutes per cycle just to get a chance at the relic you need, because the first 2 cycles don't have Axii relics, only the last one. Due to the increased time requirement needed to acquire these primed warframes, the supply decreases as players either don't grind out for it because it's too much, or they get screwed by RNG. Because of the way this unvaulting is being done, prices for Warframe parts actually increased after unvaultings. It is important to note that the way these unvaultings are done aren't at random. DE seems to decide the placement of where relics drop on popularity of frames. Ember is not a very popular frame and has fallen off the meta, while Frost is already very abundant in supply, as he has had various Switch Prime drops and various unvaultings in the past. Volt and Loki, on the other hand, are very popular frames that haven't seen nearly as many unvaultings, with Volt having a few appearances in Baro Ki Teer rotations. For further proof of this, Rhino and Nyx were unvaulted last summer in the Void as well. Rhino is incredibly popular as a Prime, as his Iron Skin ability is buffed by the base armor increase of the Prime version, and Nyx was slated to receive a small rework that summer as well, making this a very hot unvaulting. It is very important to weigh these factors as a vendor and consumer to decide when you want to sell and purchase Prime frames and weapons. I mentioned Baro Ki Teer earlier, but Baro is a bi-weekly vendor that comes in and sells weapons that used to be in previous events that won't come back, like Vandals. He also sells Prisma weapons, Prime mods, cosmetics, and boosters. I treat him similarly to events when it comes to weapons. Mods, however, have a bit more to them. When it comes to mods, on top of the trends and time periods, you can also max out said mods to gain an additional boost in profits, as maxing out mods costs a lot of endo and money, so a lot of players just don't want to deal with it. Popular mods like Prime Pressure Point can sell for 250 to 300 plat when maxed out, compared to the 40 to 60 plat without upgrades. There are tools that can be used to predict what Baro Ki Teer may bring bi-weekly. The app called Next Baro uses algorithms to predict what he may bring when he visits, and assigns a chance for how likely a weapon or mod is to appear. Using this in conjunction with any rumor or leaks you find online in regards to new weapons can help you decide when to buy and when to farm for ducats. On console, Baro Ki Teer will always be accurate on the app, because his offerings are from prior PC visits, meaning you always know what he's bringing. With trends and time planning out of the way, I want to talk about the interaction between the vendor and the customer. On PC, I wish it were more common to see players barter with one another, because on console it is very common to barter prices because of two reasons. One, the audience for consoles are generally middle class who don't have a $1,500 box sitting in the room, plus more to burn on additional in-game purchases. And two, consoles do not have discounts on Platinum, but instead single in-game purchases that don't include the third market. This means that Platinum is the listed price and nothing else, so bartering is very crucial on console. I suggest all players to barter for prices because chances are you can get a lower price, and because it isn't common to barter in direct messages on PC, it's possible to do so indirectly. This is where the trade chat comes in. In most circumstances, I would suggest you avoid trade chat, but if you use it with the mentality that everyone knows the Warframe market website exists, you can actually make deals with people. For instance, if you see a Prime set you want is 100 Platinum on the website, you can say something like WTB Prime set 85 plat in the trade chat and see if players are comfortable with that price. If they are, they'll message you, and if they aren't, they'll barter a slightly higher price. Chances are players who see this will check the market against your price and use it to decide whether or not the price is fair for them. Conversely, this strategy can be used unfairly. If you understand what prices are on the website, you can try to inflate the prices on trade chat. While this is one kind of strategy, know that there are players who have absolutely no problems bombarding you with hate messages, and while you can try to ignore them, there are a lot out there who will do the exact same to you. Tread cautiously, as one of those ignores could have been a potential customer in the future. The most important message that I'm trying to convey before I leave is that no matter what kind of player you are, always use all of the resources available to you to make an educated decision. Under no circumstance, go into a transaction without any knowledge of how the item you're buying is priced or the history of said item. And that's all for now. Thank you for watching.